Hello, everyone out there in Streamland. My name's Mascus, and you are joining me live here for the Premium World Championship Qualifier number 21. Excited to bring this to you. This is top 8 action coming to you live. Take a look at the bracket here. The top 8 has been already played out a little bit here. We have Lucas sitting in winners finals after defeating GS76. And down on the loser side, Moxie's has secured top 8 as well as YSMF. Waiting on some of the loser side to finish out here. 32 players today for our Premium World Championship Qualifier. If you want to get involved in playing with these, head on over to www.goatformat.com. Join up on our Patreon page. Or you can just head on over to our Discord and become a premium member of our Discord. That'll let you play in these tournaments. We run 2 every single month. And the winner is guaranteed an invite to the World Championships of GOAT Format. Going to be held in October this year, the weekend before Halloween. Should be super exciting. Looking forward to all the great action that the World Championships is going to bring us. But we got to determine who is going to be playing here. And there are some invites on the line. We're going to follow the second side of winners. Anthony Alvarado versus I Love Cece. For everybody joining us, how y'all doing today? You guys ready for some high-octane GOAT format action? Who's ready to see some pot of greeds go off? Some graceful charities, duos. How about BLS being summoned? How about scapegoats being flipped? I want to see some scapegoats flipped. Hope y'all do too. Only a couple events still left for earning invites. Next month's Premium World Championship qualifiers. We also have Clash of the Champions coming up. That's an invite-only tournament, unfortunately, for those who want to participate in that. You'd have to have won a Go Format Championship, a FLC, Format Library Championship, or a Shonen Jump Championship, YCS, Nationals, World Champion. If you're one of the lucky few who can call yourself a World Champion, you are invited to play in this Clash of the Champions tournament. Winner also gets an invite. Just a fun little tournament that we like to hold for those players who've earned their shot already. And those former champions as well. Anthony Alvarado actually is a former champion, so he should be able to play in that. He's looking to earn another invite, though, by defeating I Love Cece. I Love Cece just came off of a match versus Crash Vault. Crash Vault, a Shonen Jump champion, Kyle Lopez. So he would be invited to play in the Clash of the Champions coming up. We also have next weekend, special GOAT Grand Prix Philadelphia. I will be there, possibly on the 1s and 2s. Coming to you live and direct in living color. Yeah, you'll get to see my beautiful, beautiful face, possibly. Definitely get to hear my ugly voice. But that should be a really fun event. We have over... Going to be shooting for 64 players at that event. Some big names coming out from all across the country to the city of brotherly love to play some GOAT format. It's going to be a fun event for sure. So down on the loser side of the bracket, we can see the winner of Crash Vault and Delinquent will take on YSMF. And the winner of Soul Master Matt and Don't Copy will take on Moxies. And that'll round out our top 8 here. That also includes GS76 as well as Lucas, Anthony Alvarado, and I Love CC. As we're waiting for that match to start still. I Love CC and Crash Vault Barn Burner. Very back and forth game. Just caught the end of it. All right, so it looks like that maybe some difficulty on CC's end currently. So they have gotten an extension. We're going to move over to one of the losers' side. Let's take a look at the former world champion Delinquent. Well, not former world champion, the current reigning world champion Delinquent. This is not a top 8 matchup. This is for a win and in into the top 8. Unfortunately, in this tournament, top 8 gets you nothing. But you get to say that you top 8'd the tournament. So let's take a look here at our participants. It looks like Crash Vault on the Chaos. Got Thunder Dragon in the graveyard, as well as some Chaos Monsters banished here with Blackluster Soldier, Breaker the Magical Warrior, Thunder Dragon, and Delinquent resolving a Graceful Charity. Has a Road Decree up, Dekoichi the Battle Enchanted Locomotive, and Gravekeeper Spy banished. Kaiko the Ghost Destroyer. Coming down for Delinquent here, we're going to see a Light in the Dark get banished. Not for a Chaos Monster summon, but for Kaiko. Thanks, Kaiko. And the Tribe Infecting Virus now coming down for Crash Vault's end. Going to deal with the Kaiko. Going to say, probably, yeah, not going to elect to use its effect to get rid of the Dekoichi as well and swing for more damage. Don't want to discard a card that could potentially be a real card. So I'm just going to swing in here again into the face down. It's Magician of Faith. This could get that Graceful Charity. Yeah, probably the best bet here. Delinquent is down a lot of cards. Needs to find something to recover this board position here. Crash Vault is down in life. So potentially a BLS of Delinquent's own. That Road Decree may be keeping Crash Vault's back row locked down. And yeah, Crash Vault not committing anymore to the back row, so there may be traps in the hand for Crash Vault, but no way right now to turn the Road Decree off. As we see Graceful Charity resolving from Delinquent's end. Still game 1 here. Discarding Redundant Road Decree. Now it's time to think on the second one. Yeah, we're not quite in the top 4 yet, unfortunately, so can't tell you what the decks are. But knowing Lucas, it is definitely a Warrior deck in the winners' finals. So Normal Summon Kaiku coming down for Delinquent now. Premature Burial. Getting back a second copy of Kaiku. And we're going to attack. Going to run into a Gravekeeper Spy. Crashfold will get another. Delinquent's Gravekeeper Spy looks like it was banished from the effect of Blackluster Soldier. So now the board is not necessarily locked down, but Crashbolt has the defense. Delinquent's got to find a way to punch through here. Does have two strong beaters. Kaiku keeps the graveyard at bay, but unfortunately he's not big enough to get through the Gravekeeper Spy. Curious to see the rest of the deck. It looks like there's a brain control here from Delinquent's end. Spies as well as Royal Decree. Upstart Goblins. Yeah, no real advance of the board state here. We just have Kaiku attacking in. Just in case this isn't a Sinister Serpent and it's a flip effect. I mean, you're going to proc the flip effect. Can't avoid that, but at least you're going to get rid of the monster. Crashbolt just is fine to set in case Delinquent does have an answer to these spies. Delinquent didn't flip up the monster that he set last turn, so it's not a flip effect. Or if it is, it's not something that's very advantageous. It could be a spy, and he doesn't want to lock his board down. That or only runs two spies, and that there's no reason to flip it. It's just you can put it in defense and set it as a defender. And Kaiku coming down for Crashbolt's end. Gonna trade with another one. It's possible we could see maybe a Heavy Storm. That'll get rid of the one Kaiku, and then he can crash into the other one. Instead, he's going to attack this face down, and that is Magician of Faith. So this can get back Graceful Charity again. It was interesting that that Delinquent used Premature on the Kaiku, because he did have access to a Tribe-Infecting Virus. So it might have been better to maybe just hold one Kaiku, try to attack in, and then attack the face down. Keep that Premature for later. This way you're able to use it on the Tribe and get rid of the spies and put the pressure on even further. The turn that he did it, though, he attacked over a Tribe and then attacked the spy with the second Kaiku. So it is possible that he was just not reading Gravekeeper Spy there. Wow, held that Mystical Space Typhoon. So it wouldn't have worked out for Delinquent anyway if he targeted the Tribe-Infecting Virus. Mystical Space Typhoon going to deal with the Kaiku. Or deal with the Snatch Steal targeting his own Kaiku. Yeah, you were correct, Delinquent. That was the one that was equipped with Premature Burial. But Delinquent just being very communicative to Crashbolt. Saying, yes, this is the one I intend to attack with, as there's no confusion. Now, another back row for Crashbolt. With the Royal Decree up, then you know this is probably going to be something like a Book of Moon. Anything that Crashbolt can actually use. Now it's time to banish the light and dark for Delinquent, for the big man himself, Lackluster Soldier. Could this be the beginning of the end of this duel? Passing Prio. No Book of Moon in response for Crash Vault. So Blackluster Soldier can start picking apart this board. Here's Critter. No Meta Cross out. Take out your Sinister Serpent. And yeah, he's just going to go in. And that's going to be the game for Delinquent. Interesting that there wasn't a Book of Moon there. And taking a look at the bracket, it looks like a new update. Don't Copy has lost to Soul Master Matt. So Matt is going to be moving on to face Moxies in the top 8 on loser's side. Still want to figure out what Delinquent's on. I mean, it's definitely a Chaos deck. We're seeing Kaiku, we're seeing Blackluster Soldier. But it might not be a Chaos deck because I saw Brain Control. Could be some kind of surprise. Maybe there's the Borgs in here and it's like a Chaos Monarch type idea. That's just wishful thinking on my part. 2 in the back, 1 in the front from Crash Vault as we start off game 2. Trap Dust Shoot. Going to take a look at the hand. No Banish for the stream, of course. But it looks like it's a tough one for Crash Vault. Crash Vault says he's got a Ring of Destruction, a Royal Decree, Magician of Faith, Sinister Serpent, Gravekeeper Spy, and Graceful Charity. Yeah, putting back the Sinister. So it's not... That's not a bad thing for Crash Vault. This means the Charity, if Delinquent decides to play it, which he will, since Crash Vault knows the entire hand, want to get some new cards and throw away ones that Crash Vault already knows about. Probably you can get rid of the Magician of Faith and the Gravekeeper Spy to set up Light and Dark. You could get rid of the Royal Decree here, like Delinquent will. Royal Decree gets a little bit worse on the draw. Going to discard a Heavy Storm as well. Kind of like that option because that means the Magician of Faith can resolve and get back the Heavy Storm if needed. And set 2 from Delinquent's end. No Dust Shoot. Or Delinquent's typing. Maybe there will be a Dust Shoot. A mosquito is chasing them. All right. They may be a world champion, but I guess their biggest weakness might be household insects. Maybe if they had Insect Barrier in their deck, they wouldn't. I wouldn't be in the situation that they're currently in. Mind Control going to take Delinquent's face down to Koichi, flip that up. Crash Vault gets another draw to cycle that Mind Control, essentially. After flipping their own to Koichi and drawing a card. And just the battle phase. Mind Control is so huge in these mirror matches of Chaos decks. Being able to take the flip effects and not only benefit from the flip effect, like Dekoichi here drawing a card, or if you run Gravedigger Spy, getting your own Gravedigger Spy out of the deck. Obviously, if you grab a Magician of Faith, you can do something like this, get back the Mind Control, or whatever power spell that you have in the graveyard. But denying them the flip effect is really, really strong as well. Mind Control again coming down. There's Sangan, so blank the Mind Control this time. Delinquent had to have known it was coming. Wanted his opponent to Mind Control. And Crashbolt is going to elect to flip it up. Crashbolt going to commit to Kaiko the Ghost Destroyer. Take a look at the graveyard for Delinquent here, see what they can grab. And walking in the Ring of Destruction, he knew it was there. So the order of operations here doesn't necessarily matter because probably the ring was always going to attack in. Or ring was going to hit the Kaiko is what I meant to say. But yeah, it's interesting because you could have done a play that Crashbolt just did now, but instead do it in that order where you go attack the Dekoichi first with your own Dekoichi to crash them, then use the Kaiko, try to attack directly, and banish. But worked out for Crashbolt here. Either way, dealt with the Ring of Destruction via the threat of Kaiko, and now Chaos Sorcerer can come down and banish the Sangan that belongs to Delinquent that was on Crashbolt's field thanks to the Mind Control. Upstart Goblin's going to cycle, find a new card for Delinquent. And now Delinquent Duo. Going to take out a Heavy Storm and Crashbolt's own Sangan. And so we should know what the two cards in Delinquent's hand are. They're Magician of Faith and Gravedigger Spy. Because Delinquent opted to set the Dekoichi first. That was the one that he must have drawn from Graceful Charity way back on his first turn. So now Delinquent is able to probably set the Magician of Faith here, and you can get back your Graceful, try to find an out to this Chaos Sorcerer. Normal summon the Gravekeeper Spy from Crashbolt's end. He's going to test the waters. Probably attack with the Spy first. because you're probably betting on that being Magician of Faith, and it is. And now you can get in some Chaos Sorcerer damage. Dropping Delinquent down to 1,500 life points. And even if Delinquent decided to set the Grave Spy that we know about, the Chaos Sorcerer can just deal with one of them. You're fine with taking the 800 damage from your Grave Spy, crashing into the wall, and then you can just get rid of one. Graceful Charity resolving now. Delinquent's got a decision to make. Going to discard Zaborg the Thunder Monarch. Suspected those would have been in the deck, thanks to the brain controls earlier. Not sure if those are sided or main board. We saw success from Alephia with a Cold Wave Monarch strategy. Alephia, Delinquent's brother, of course. Both of them qualified for the World Championships. Obviously, Delinquent through being the current World Champion, and Alephia earlier this season from, I believe, winning a... was it the GFC? Did he win the GFC? I think he won the GFC, right? My memory, all these events, from covering them, sort of blur together at certain points. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the GFC. What I should do is head on over to www.goformat.com, where we have all of our events covered, top 8 deck lists, or we can head on over to our YouTube page, where all of the VODs from all of our events are uploaded. Mirror Force now taking care of Chaos Sorcerer and Gravekeeper Spy. And now Crashbolt's got a set. See what this face down guy is. Probably the... yeah, probably that Gravekeeper Spy that we've known about for so long. Yeah, shout out to Dueling Book for this keep going emoji. You hold down the thumbs up button. You can just tell your opponent, I keep passing. Royal Decree now a flip up. This will protect from battle phase tricks that Crashbolt has outside of a Book of Moon. Presume Delinquent's going to try to attack in here. Unless they have a Monarch in hand, they could summon the Monarch over top one of the spies. Yeah, get rid of the defense mode spy. Here comes the Borg. Cleanly take out Crashbolt's face down spy. And a big life point swing. 3,600, dropping Crashbolt down to 3,600. Thunder Dragon off the top for Crash Volt. Is there a light already in the graveyard besides this Thunder Dragon? No, that was the one to do it. But no Chaos Monsters. So this is a lethal attack if Delinquent just goes to battle phase. Summoning the Tribe, though, to play around Book of Moon. And that'll do it. Delinquent is going to move on and advance into the top 8 here. And we are going to be moving over to Anthony Alvarado and I Love CC. So it looks like Anthony has won the first game. So we're going to be heading into game 2. CC's on a kind of like a hybrid deck from what I saw. It's Chaos with Goats and Meta and also Warrior cards, just like all the good ones, it seems. We'll be going first here in this game, too. Not sure just yet what Anthony Alvarado's on. Possibly Warriors, possibly Chaos Turbo. Usually what they've been running in the past couple of tournaments here, one of those two decks. Thunder Dragons from Anthony's end, followed up by Upstart Goblin. The correct order where you wanted to see that. Graceful Charity now. Gonna discard those Thunder Dragons, I reckon, unless there's a better card to discard for Anthony Alvarado. Nope. So converting those Thunder Dragons into some real cards. Have a full grip of playable cards to CC's just lone set monster. No Meta Crossout would put in a ton of work here for Alvarado if he has it. Instead, going to set first. One to the back. See if we got anything else to do. And now I'm just going to play it slow. Just say here, I got this set card. And nothing in the standby phase preemptively, so no Regeki Break, Wing Blast to get rid of this face down. Prevent it from flipping up and getting a beneficial effect for ILO CC. Torrential Tribute, going to take care of Kaiku and Mystic Swordsman level 2 face down for I Love CC. Yeah, just going to say go. It's a value torrential from Alvarado's end. Makes sense. I mean, you risk the flip effect going off if it's something like a Dekoichi if you don't commit anything. Like if you don't try to respond to it. But you're going to at least get another monster if they put a guy beside it on the normal. Because it's very tempting to just normal summon a guy into one back row. Now we're going to see Premature Burial come out. Not something you typically see in Chaos decks. But because CC is running stuff like these Warriors, Mystic Swordsman, Exiled Force, for example, gets a lot better utility. And in a pinch, it can bring back a dead Chaos Lurcer or BLS. But the Mystic Swordsman level 2 is going to go to battle and attack into a Sinister Serpent, so not going to get a huge amount of value here. Just going to take away Anthony Alvarado's summon. But Anthony, he's okay with that. No Dust Shoot from either end. Well, from CC's end, at least. Tsukiyomi is the normal summon, going to try to battle in. Premature is going to fall off, and Mirror Force is going to take out Tsukiyomi, so CC's going to keep his Mystic Swordsman. See if Alvarado wants to do anything in main phase 2 to get rid of it if he really cares that much. Found it annoying enough to summon the Tsukiyomi and try to clear it. Instead trading for the back row. I mean, Alvarado is further ahead on card advantage. It's not everything. We know one of the cards is Sinister Serpent. Say Alvarado's definitely playing. They're both playing conservatively, I think. But Sousa Soldier now coming down for Adla CC. If you're not familiar, this is another spirit monster. Turns to the hand at the end phase, as all spirit monsters do. But the battle damage it inflicts is halved. So why play this card? It's got great stats. 2016. So in a warrior matchup, you can summon this, attack over their guys, and it returns to the hand. So it's very difficult to deal with by battle. Interesting tech card here. I would assume this might be coming in games 2 and 3 for CC. And there's Sousa Soldier leaving the board. Definitely not something you see every day. It's got really good defense stats too. 1600. Ties with a lot of stuff. Blade Knight, for example, if the Blade Knight's not big. And in attack mode, it can clear Blade Knight as well. Suffers from being a Earth monster, so it doesn't really help with your Chaos strategy. But it's bigger than this Tribe-Infecting Virus that Alvarado decided to commit to deal with the Mystic Swordsman. And it looks like, bracket update here, Moxie's has lost to Soulmaster Matt. So they're going to be waiting on the loser of Alvarado and CC here. Sousa Soldier coming down for CC, going to attack over and get rid of the Tribe-Infecting Virus and doing its job. Being kind of a jerk. Bullying other monsters. I mean, it's not the card that's going to OTK your opponent, even though it has the big stats that should be able to do that. You know, with the 2000, you're able to just make a big swing with it. But because it's got that stat line, it's just able to deal with a lot of the commonly played monsters. A lot of the good normal summons are just under 2,000 in attack. And at the very least, I mean, if you could trade into a Blade Knight, that's pretty good. Obviously, you want to kill the Blade Knight, but can't all win. And I guess a little bit better than Zumbira, because Zumbira will lose stats when it kills stuff. Though the trade-off is that it takes up your normal summon every turn. CC elected not to do the Sousa summon here and decided I'm just going to go in with DD Warrior Lady and attacking the Knight Assailant. The Knight Assailant's going to take out the DD Warrior Lady. So only a +1 from Alvarado's end, and one of those cards is Sinister Serpent for sure, so it is a +1 that may stay out for a little while, thanks to the Sinister Serpent. So in terms of card advantage, I mean, it's not super lenient in Alvarado's end. Technically, he does have more options. But with a couple of nice cards, I mean, CC can swing it back into his favor, at least even the odds. And as we've seen, I mean, card advantage isn't everything. He's up in the life. Up on the summon as well, since he went first. And has played a monster every turn, I'm pretty sure. The one turn he got his stuff torrential, so I think he actually is responding to what Alvarado's doing and hasn't gotten that back yet. Another set card from Alvarado. Sousa's coming down again. Looks like CC ran out of the options that can clear the face downs pretty easily. And instead has to commit the Sousa Soldier. And now this Magician of Faith is going to resolve the second copy. And find Graceful Charity for Alvarado. Going to dig deeper into the deck, try to look for the power cards. Pot of Greed hasn't been played yet. Duo. A Chaos Monster would be excellent for Alvarado. Now Regeki break in end phase, taking out the back row that's been set for a while. That's a bluff brain control. Interesting. Saw brain control in Delinquent's deck that was used last game. But we didn't see it actually resolve. Kind of joined the game and it was in the graveyard, so it may have been used somehow. Or he discarded it. Either way, it was there. I think Brain Control's a card that is not explored enough. I think it can show up in other decks where you wouldn't think it could show up in. But let's take a look at this Graceful. Discarding Sinister Serpent and Dark Magician of Chaos. That's a new one for Chaos Turbo. Could we perhaps see revival spells from Alvarado as well, targeting the Dark Magician of Chaos? I wonder. Mystical Space Typhoon in the standby phase of CC's own turn. There's a Scapegoat from Alvarado's end. So it looks like it's not Chaos Turbo, but maybe Chaos Control. That would explain the Magician of Chaos, I think, because it's much easier to summon this when you have like a guy plus a balance on ice restrict on the board. That, or he could just be running Scapegoat and nothing, like no meta, none of that jazz. Creature swap from CC's end. Gonna give the Sinister Serpent over. Gonna check that card real quick. It was a Gravekeeper Spy. Gonna flip it back down because it can't be flipped. Now, what's the play from Alvarado's end? Delinquent Duo. That's a good one. This can take care of the Sousa Soldier. Gonna get rid of a Metamorphosis. Which CC could have played. He could have used the Metamorphosis on the Gravekeeper Spy that he stole. Just got like a Darkfire Dragon and started attacking. Probably wasn't the best play because he might just have Gravekeeper Spies in his deck and wants to flip it up and resolve it. So get better value out of it, then you could use the card. Yep. Here comes Revival from Anthony. Premature Burial. I have an idea of what it's targeting. It's going to be Dark Magician of Chaos. And that's going to trigger on summon. What a card. I'm a fan of this one for sure. Dark Magician of Chaos. When it's normal or special summon, you can target a spell in the graveyard and add it back to your hand, just like Magician of Faith, but not a flip effect. And then when it leaves the field, you banish it. But when it kills something, it banishes whatever it killed. Excellent stats, 28, 26. You're talking about card advantage earlier. Alvarado has a ton more cards now. All thanks to just being able to retain his cards, trade 1-for-1, and keep the edge with the Sinister. That duo helped as well, stripping away 2 cards from CC's end. Now the Dark Magician of Chaos is just going to swing in. That'll flip. Will it trigger? He doesn't have any. Didn't attack for a little bit of damage with the Sinister Serpent. That is CC Sinister. Sousa Soldier is in hand for CC. And he's going to try to attack his own Sinister Serpent. Just to try to get it back, but going to be met with Mirror Force. Alvarado playing Keep Away with the cards. It may have been better for CC if he had the Like, he had the Sousa Soldier and the creature swaps. So he could have used, like, normal summon the Sousa, activate creature swap, give his opponent the Sousa, and then in the end phase, the Sousa returns to his hand. So he just doesn't lose a card out of this trade. Like, he gets his card back, he gets his opponent's card, and the Sinister's still in hand. So when the duo resolves, he just gets to keep the duo. Regardless of if he decides to discard it, or if he gets to... if he gets it randomly discard from Alvarado. It could have been a better line. If Alvarado doesn't hit the meta, then he has the meta with the Sinister. Comes down to Alvarado's random discard, I think. But the Sousa is also in the hand, so the hand would have been Sousa, meta, a creature swap, and a Sinister. I like those odds. Because you can get rid of the creature swap, or you can keep the creature swap and then use it again with the Sousa to get rid of whatever his opponent has. Like to take the DMOC. Not sure if Anthony goes for the same line. He might, because he knows that it's Spy. He's risking that the CC doesn't have a Spy of his own. Yeah, doesn't need to add anything else to the board, Alvarado, after taking away a lot of cards from CC's end. Just limiting the options. Keeping the Sinister on his side of the board face up instead of in CC's hand. Not like that the DMOC wouldn't be able to banish the Sinister, but the life point pressure is there because there isn't a blocker. And now Regeki Break going to take away the fresh set, if that's any sort of hope. It's just Royal Decree. CC's deck doesn't seem like it has a lot of Battle Trap defense. I mean, one is already used in Mirror Force. I don't think Alvarado is going to play into Torrential at this point. Got to see a Book of Moon, got to see a Scapegoat or something to block some attacks here, because this is lethal on the board with Dark Magician of Chaos. Scapegoat finally coming out, and the Cecilia tokens are here. And there's Golem Sentry from Alvarado, so he's on the Golems. The new tech from Alvarado's end. Not necessarily new, but trying to catch on here. Golem Sentry as a card that you can play in the Chaos decks. Just being able to be a guy that has a big enough defense that can kind of tempo your opponent. You don't have to swing it into warriors. You can just move stuff out of the way. Get rid of their summon. It's kind of hard for them to deal with it if you have stuff like Regeki Breaks to defend it. Because the only thing that beats them is like a Lane Knight or something like a Exile Force Mystic Swordsman level 2. Everything else is around 1800 that they play. Just a back row from CC's end. So he can go and flip the Golem here, deal with a token, and then switch that Sinister to attack mode and deal with the other token first. Heavy Storm, though, is going to be the flip. And CC just conceding the match here. Yeah, if you're going to Heavy Storm away your Dark Magician of Chaos, probably means that you got game in hand. I mean, there's also 9 cards left in the deck for Alvarado, and there is a lot of there's just a lot of options that he hasn't played yet. Like, he hasn't played any Chaos Monster. So congratulations to Alvarado. He's going to move on in the winner's side of the bracket here. And Delinquent looks like they lost to YSMF. So Soulmaster Matt's going to be playing I Love CC here in a few moments. And Alvarado's going to be playing Lucas. So I Love CC not out of the tournament yet. Going to take a second look at the bracket here. This spot filled in here. Soulmaster Matt's going to be facing off against I Love CC. And then we have YSMF and GS76 facing off in loser side as well. They'll play. Winners of those will play in the loser semifinals. And we're gonna head over to the winner's side to see who's gonna be in grand finals in a moment here. It's gonna be Lucas versus Anthony Alvarado. Anthony on this control deck, and Lucas on the Warriors. And if you're just joining us here, welcome. My name's Vasquez, and I've been streaming a little while. This top 8 coverage of the GoFormat.com Premium World Championship Qualifier number 21. We run these particular events twice a month, every month. Winner of this tournament is going to earn an invite to the GoFormat World Championships that will be held the weekend before Halloween in October. Be a 2-day event. More details on the prizing for that coming very, very soon, but it's going to be some great prizing this year. Hoping to top what we did last year, of course. Hoping to see all of y'all who are in the chat today there as well, if you're not playing in the event. But if you want to try to earn your spot at the World Championships, you can join up on our Discord. All you got to do is go to www.goatformat.com and click on the link there to join the Discord. That is where we run all of our events from. You can become a premium member on the Discord to play in these events. We also run free events as well. Our signature GOAT Format Championship Series. Always free to play in. Earn invites for doing very well in those tournaments. Usually top 4 around, top 8, depending on the size. So we're going to see now Lucas the Heretic. Lucas versus Anthony Alvarado. Here in our winners finals. The winner of this will move on to the grand finals of our tournament here. For those of you who are unfamiliar with how this tournament structure works, it is double elimination. That means if you lose twice, you're out of the tournament. To get to grand finals, that means you haven't lost just yet, but you have to face the winner of the loser side of the bracket. So the person who only lost once so far and is the last man standing. In the grand finals, if the loser on the loser side of the bracket beats the person on the winner side of the bracket, they knock that winner down to the winner's side. or down to the loser side, correction. And they play another best 2 out of 3 match. So a slight advantage here for the winner of this match going into the grand finals to win the tournament. Both of these players, I believe, already do have an invite to the World Championships. Let's see here. Yeah, so both these players already have an invite. What that means is that they're playing for seeding points. Well, actually, not seeding points, but points for a potential bye. The way that it works...
Three invites, right, for a bye?
That is correct, Mr. Big Noodle. Thank you for joining me here. So, I'm actually not familiar if one of them has a bye or not, or one of them has 2 points right now. But yes, that is correct. You need 3 points to get to a bye.
Well, it's good that Lucas had that called haunted there, because, yeah, Ninja Grandmaster is so good against Gravekeeper Spy.
For sure. Takes care of those pesky defense mode monsters that are face up.
Yeah, you really don't want to have to use a GD Warrior Lady on a Spy. You know? Sometimes you have to.
Sometimes you have to, and it's obviously not the best, but if it's just one Spy, I mean, it's alright. You're getting it out of the way. Your other guy can attack. You're fine. But yeah, Ninja Grandmaster doing their job. Kaiko locking down the graveyard as well. There's Thunder Dragon in the graveyard for Anthony Alvarado was just put there. So 2 in the hand and then 1 card that we don't know about. Night Assailant now. Going to take out the Kaiko. And that was good attack order from Lucas's end. Just take the guarantee first.
True.
Some players, I mean, might not think that matters.
Mm-hmm.
They just are like, oh, I'll just attack through. But
and that's like the difference between winning and losing. Like long term, like by the end of the game, you know.
Yeah, it's just
that could make the difference.
Just micro decisions like that. And there's the Sentry. Talked about this card earlier. Been picking up in popularity in these control decks. Just having a wall like this.
Is he going to bounce it, you think? No.
Now, there's no advantage for bouncing it here. Yeah. And we're going to get the Zinger. But yeah, Lucas will continue to attack it just to force it to go face up. This way that if he does want to bounce it, it has to stay in attack mode. Yeah. There's a weird ruling with these cards that you can only use the flip face down effect once. Like, they don't forget that they've used the effect. Because, you know, like with Chaos Sorcerer, if you banish something, put it face down, and then flip it up, it can banish something again. Because it forgets it used its once per turn effect. But these cards, for whatever reason, don't forget.
Golem Sentry is a good memory.
Yeah. Probably because they would be really good if, like, way better than they are currently. Like, obviously, they have to think Golem Sentry is good enough if they're gonna put it in their deck and it's gonna see play, and it's gonna get them to the winners finals. But yeah,
Would
that
you be able
8...
to turn my mic up a little bit? I think it's a little quiet on stream.
Yes,
If I can.
I probably can.
Heavy storm.
That'll take care of... Yeah, I mean, the ninja was going to die anyway.
Yeah.
But you got to take it with the ring if you're going to lose it.
I'd be a little nervous about that. I mean, I'd be nervous that he's trying to, like, yeah, go into BLS, get some damage in. You're kind of hurting yourself here. I guess he can't OTK you. I don't think. No.
Well, there was no way that he was going to be able to avoid this anyway. So I just decided I have to flip the ring up. Like, I'm going to lose it, so might as well. I like this play from Lucas. He's playing it... I think he's playing it smart. Decided to get rid of the Golem Sentry as a guarantee instead of attacking both and potentially walking into a Night Assailant on his opponent's turn. Said, I mean, if it was a Night Assailant, I guess he loses the BLS no matter what, but he just wanted to definitely get the Golem Sentry out of the way. And his Vision of Fate doesn't really do that much because it's only getting an Upstart Goblin. So he wasn't really afraid of any of the down cards. The only thing that he's afraid of is Sentry and a...
Why do you think Lucas didn't attack both the monsters? Because is it... Like, what's the worry about having Golem Sentry in the graveyard, or what am I missing?
It just doesn't... It doesn't really matter what the face down is, I don't think. He just wanted a guarantee to get rid of that Sentry. But yeah, I mean, you could also argue that it doesn't matter if the Golem Sentry goes to the graveyard either. But he does play Premature Burial, so maybe the Premature or the Call of the Haunted could bring the Golem Sentry back. And he just wanted to guarantee remove it. Here's BLS from Alvarado's end. Likely just top decked. Yeah, that's gotta be met with Solemn. Another 3K from Lucas. Swinging in there. Alvarado's got to find something. And that'll be the game one for Lucas ends here. Was able to stick to BLS.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
How's it going, Birdman?
Not too bad. I just got off work. Got a bunch of muffins and some vegan bread that I'm going to take to, like, a family dinner later. But this match seems pretty exciting, so I figured I would at least tap in for a few.
Well, happy to have you here. I'll turn you up a little bit on my end.
So what, I, like, just got here. What are these guys on today?
Lucas is on the Tried and True Warriors, as usual. And Alvarado's on Chaos Control with the Golem Sentries, as well as we saw D-Mock earlier.
How many golems?
I've only seen one so far.
I've seen a lot more people lately do the one golem. I mean, I can see it. Knock bait, kind of walls them out a bit. And then, you know, if it somehow sticks, generates a lot of advantage.
Oh, for sure. It can take away tempo from your opponent, and it's pretty fine with just being a wall.
I had like a Chain Energy CC deck going. I might still have this going in the future, where, yeah, it sort of revolves around Golem.
Oh, I mean, that combos really well with Chain Energy, huh? Because if they try to play their card that you just put back...
Like, my philosophy is you want things that sort of stand on their own 2 feet for more than a turn, paired with Chain Energy, and Golem is like the definition of that.
Mm-hmm. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Graceful pot of greed, okay.
After a Thunder Dragon. So doing
Yeah,
everything in the correct order here.
Yep.
I mean, we had an explosive start from Lucas last game, as explosive as Warriors get by summoning Kaiko and setting 5. So
That is huge.
it makes.
How many solemns were down there?
I don't remember, because he ended up heavy storming everything away to make way for his Blackluster Soldier to come down cleanly. But I mean, it makes sense that Alvarado, the luck swings back in his favor when he's going first, and just has a huge opening here. And I mean, it does seem like a little bit, it could feel demoralizing. I'll be honest, when your opponent opens Thunder Dragon plus the Graceful plus the Pot of Greed, sometimes even plus Upstart. Yeah. They just drew a bunch of cards, but as we're seeing here, I mean, Alvarado hasn't really put any pressure on his opponent. He just kind of set some cards and passed. It's all on Lucas to try to break the board here. So it may take a while for Alvarado to put all the stuff that actually wins the game on the board. But it sucks that you know it's coming.
Yeah, how I feel often if I'm getting sacked and I'm playing, like Panda, which is what I always play. I'm like, it doesn't really matter. Half of these cards are combo pieces that don't have their boss monster yet. And if they get the boss monster early, it's like a lot of decks have enough outs to the BLS or the Sork that it's not just game breaking on its own to summon it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, you can draw a shit ton of cards, but it's not really the end all be all of the match, right?
And right here, Alvarado playing very smartly, flipping the Royal Decree before doing anything like Magician of Faith to beat any kind of counter trap. So something like Solemn Judgment can't be played before here, or you have to use the Solemn on the Royal Decree, but why would you do that?
Yeah.
It just doesn't do anything.
I wonder if Lucas might have Heavy Storm, because he hasn't set very much.
It's possible that he could have a grip full of monsters as well. He also could have Heavy Storm face down. And now we got the Souk lock. Well, not the lock, but the loop going. So things are coming up pretty well here for Alvarado.
Yeah, this is a pretty huge advantage, to say the least. Let's see, we're at 10-5, and he's got the field under control, too, with the Souk. And he's got Live Chaos and a Serpent Engrave. Things are kind of huge on Alvarado's side, for sure.
I mean, he's seen 10 more cards than his opponent has at this point.
Yeah. How did you do today, by the way?
Myself?
Yeah.
I don't play, so very well.
Nice.
Breaker the Magical Warrior now coming down, going to pick off the Royal Decree. Kind of hate to see that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if it turns on the back row for Lucas, if it's good enough, then you got to do it, huh? And
yeah, I mean, in the situation he's in, he's just completely on the back foot, right? So
yeah, he's got to break the loop. It sucks to give him the charity again, because that's 3 more cards that he's going to get to see, but
yeah, this can't go for... He had to stop the bleeding there, or the match is pretty much just over.
The writing is definitely on the wall. I mean, look how many cards are in Anthony Alvarado's hand, and there's going to be a few more added to it.
Never know, he's going to have Snatch Heavy BLS in hand, Lucas.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past Alvarado to have all 3 of those cards and more at that point.
Yeah, I mean, he's got half his deck in his hand. There's ways out of this, though. It's still early.
I think we got to start playing appropriate.
What do you mean?
There's a card called Appropriate.
Oh, I used to... When I was a kid, I had, the most baller continuous trap, only deck, and I played 3 Appropriate in that.
Yeah. Awesome. Thinking it'd be very good versus a lot of these decks that like to open pot graceful.
What we should really start playing again is Heavy Slump. I've been trying to side that lately. That card is hilarious.
Yeah, I think it's very, very underrated. Yeah.
Yeah, as a side deck tech, like versus CC or Turbo, they have 7 in hand so frequently. Like at least on their standby phase, adding Serp, it's an easy call out.
I don't really care. I'd rather just draw cards.
Yeah.
Plus, if you get 2 of them out, every time they draw for, like, what, they activate an upstart, you get to draw 4 cards. That's pretty cool.
That is true. Yeah, you could go one of 2 ways with that. You're right. Appropriate. There's a lot of interesting cards in this format that, like, I can't call them underexplored because I'm so new, but I never see them.
Yeah, of course, the biggest issue with appropriate is that you don't get the draw when you first use it, right? And you can't preemptively use it.
You have to chain it, right?
Yeah,
There's some
right.
sort of other... Yeah, that's
Yeah,
annoying.
correct. Just play Drag Down. That works,
Drag
right?
Down.
I have to read the appropriate text, so...
It's like the Dark World thing, right? Where, like, it still works.
Gonna go to game 3 here. Lucas not gonna start off like he did game 1.
Cold open.
Just a humble back row.
So I left for a bit. Did he end up having Heavy Storm or no?
No, he ended up pressing concede.
My first match today was against Lucas, and I also had Decree, but yeah, Lucas ended up beating me.
I feel like Decree on its own is not that backbreaking for Warrior. Like, it kind of sucks, but you have so many big dudes, right?
It kind of actually is fine because it just means that your guys are getting through, like, pretty much guaranteed, because you know that there isn't, like, a battle trap in the back for them to deal with. So they have to fight you on the ground with, like, another monster or monster effects, which either you can play through or it just doesn't matter because you're just running them over.
Yep. Like, you can still generate advantage through Decree pretty easily as a Warrior.
Mystic Swordsman now going to take out, well, nothing, because it's going to get hit with Mirror Force. Nobody cross out, takes out Magician of Faith, though.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Delinquent, we can, but you kind of sound like you're underground.
Damn, so very bad quality.
Yeah, a little bit.
What a pity. I just found a microphone. It's via Bluetooth. I don't know if that eventually is bad for the quality. I could try. One second. I'm gonna try it with a computer internal mic.
You know, one thing I'm starting to realize is that Blade Knight's effect where he boosts his attack is really not that important. You know? Like, his real benefit is just his main effect of stopping flip monsters. And 1600 attack is plenty.
I mean, yeah, but also you could just assume that it's always going to be 2000.
Ich habe sonst noch einen Kopfhörer.
Ich glaube, das
This sounds a lot better, Delinquent.
Okay, danke. Dann passt es.
Perfect. Glad to hear.
Glad to have you on, ladies and gentlemen. The current reigning world champion, Delinquent, is joining us in the booth.
So this is interesting. He sided in King Tiger. I guess
it's possible that there's scapegoats in for Alvarado's end.
Maybe. Yeah, well, he did have... Alvarado had the Golem Sentry, right? It's the same game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess it does... Or no, it doesn't stop flip...
You can flip
summons.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it doesn't stop Golem. It doesn't stop... It stops Sook.
Yeah, we did see a Sook earlier, so
Yeah. Stop Sook and goats. This is kind of funny because it's like the exact scenario we described off of Decree.
yeah, you get free attacks basically.
Mhm.
I mean,
One monster sort of makes it a lot less relevant, especially if it's King Tiger.
yeah. Oh, there's the scapegoat.
That's a good one.
Thinking about using MST.
Maybe book as well. Oh, MST, you're right. Wow, Wang Hus is a beast. Literally.
That is his type.
Yay. Wow.
You know, my cat is the same color as King Tiger Wangu.
Yeah.
My,
Is it also?
You can make it cosplay, huh? Just get some armor for
I
it.
could.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to ask if it also has this armor, because that
No.
looks cool. Man, I just recently had a very bad King Tiger Wanghu experience, but not in online gaming, but in IRL TCG. So I didn't have 3 from Pharaonic Guardian in first edition, and I finally bought them, like a whole playset, and they all came creased in the middle of the cards, so like damaged while shipping. That was very unfortunate. Since then, I think Wanghu and we are not, it's not a match. I think we're meant to be together. So
Maybe
let's see.
maybe they folded it for easy storage, you know? Make it a little bit more compact.
Just didn't pay for the card market premium shipping, huh?
Yeah, that for sure was a very smart premium approach. Oh man. No, but Wanghu is a good card. I would say it's not awesome, but it's certainly good.
Alvarado's tried a lot to deal with it and just hasn't gotten anything to stick. He finally put it face down with Book of Moon, but I mean he's not dealt with the card just yet. He needs to find something to run over it, and then on top of that, Lucas just put another thing face down. So still has another monster to deal with.
Does Alvarado run any beta like Kaiku or something with 1800?
I believe so.
He's got to be on Kaiku. He also had Zombira in an earlier set, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah,
Well,
that's a good
he's
one,
just
of course.
flipping Goat here because he never had an opportunity to flip it yet, so he's kind of using the Book of Moon to not just block damage, but also to put the Wangu face down so he can finally resolve this scapegoat.
Yeah, I got him back in. Got a wallop.
Well, not necessarily got it back in, just sort of stopping the bleeding, preventing lethal for a turn, and I mean, hopefully giving him an edge to get back in.
I mean, yeah, this could lead to 1,000 Eyes, which really does flip the script here.
Yeah, but I'm actually surprised he didn't end phase scapegoat, because like no meta is gone yet, and it obviously conflicts if he activates goats in his own turn. So I wonder a bit about that. But eventually, he was pessimistic of not drawing it.
I mean, he maybe got like he didn't draw a card. He wanted to see a card first before he decided the scapegoat was coming out.
Yeah, but if you're so far behind, I think at some point you really need to need to go all in, so to say. And,
Yeah. No, I totally
don't know.
agree.
Like if he last turn drew a meta, then he probably threw away this game because
Yeah.
with meta or with Thousand Eyes, I mean, not saying he would have won this, but could definitely turn the tables quite fast.
I'll get for sure.
I mean, it's not
Yeah,
looking
I mean-
good. Another monster to the board with Premature Burial, finding the Blade Knight, and then flipping up Cliff.
Yeah.
Now he needs
Everybody's favorite Dark Scorpion, Cliff.
Such a shame they didn't make Don Zaluka Dark Scorpion. That would have been like a very, very cool
Oh,
theme.
he
to
is the Don.
so good.
He-
Their power spell like it doesn't exist. It sucks.
Yeah.
It like needs all 5 of them or something.
Yeah. The is there also a spell? There's certainly this trap. I think Dark Scorpion attack where you need all 5, and then they can attack directly, but the battle damage is like regulated to 400 or something like that.
It's insanely bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like having a royal flush, but you're not allowed to win with it for some weird reason. But it's just I don't know who constructed this.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like-
I mean, it's weird. They have cards like Delinquent Duo, and then cards like that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and here comes the meta.
We've got to try. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh. But did he shuffle his hand? I didn't pay attention, but if not,
I didn't
then
see.
okay.
Isn't
Like
it too-
if yeah, okay. Okay, but now now he has Light and Dark and Grave with Thousand Eyes on
Uh-huh.
the field. Decree is also
And he's got
pretty
Decree, yeah.
decent. Yeah, I
he's
would
got
say
for-
yeah. And Snatch is not lethal, which is also good. Just in case Lucas might have it. So I actually like Anthony's position here.
Yeah, he definitely stabilized finally with this 1,000 extra strict sticking. It took a while to get
Yeah.
there. It looked very very ominous, but was able to pull it out. Not over yet
Yeah.
though. I mean, he's at 19. His opponent's at 72, so there's still a mountain to climb.
This is quite the advantage though now.
Yeah.
It's definitely the position that he wants to be in, the one that he was working for so long.
Uh-huh.
Pieces just
Yeah.
came together.
And Chaos is not live yet because he sucked up the Blade Knight, which is good.
Space Typhoon and Breaker are gone. Pretty good.
True. So he just eventually needs to be a bit careful about attacking face down monsters because it could be a set Blade Knight that would make Chaos live. I mean, yeah. But I joined the game a bit too late. I don't know how long Lucas is holding this card, but if you're playing against Warrior and they are holding like one particular card for a very, very long time, it might be a tell that it's BLS or Snatch. But of course, since Alvarado has Decree face up on the field, it could also just be a trap card that he's holding because he's waiting to draw heavy. So in this game state, it's actually quite random and not necessarily like a big tell in any direction.
I still think you're right, though, that Alvarado has to be super careful because the misstep of putting a light in the graveyard may, just swing it back to Lucas's end. He finally took control of the board with the 1,000 Eyes Restrict, just ended the road to creep back up. Well, now we're going to get to find out if it isn't.
Oh, so it was a dead trap card. Okay, but yeah, so the thing is, Alvarado, on the other hand, also can't wait forever because Tribe is still alive.
And if you have the option for the card destruction to get rid of your 2 Thunder Dragons that aren't doing anything, I think you take that.
Yeah. What was it? There's the light.
Mhm.
Okay. So BLS is live, but well, let's see what he got. Even if he would have even if he would have BLS, oh,
Not really game, yeah. Even if he has soldier.
yep.
Oh, maybe.
I mean, soldier and tribe, but he only has 2 cards in his hand, so that's not
I
gonna
already
work.
used green too. This is like, yeah, this is pretty tight.
Yeah, but exiled is also still.
Who's soldier?
Something.
Who
Yeah,
is soldier?
What?
Did you say,
A
what'd you say?
BLS, Mr. Biggest boss monster. That's the boy.
Could be Abyss Soldier. You never know.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can't highlight this anymore. I mean, if we're talking about a badass monster, this might be Abyss Soldier. Very, very true. I betrayed Abyss Soldier today. I didn't play it, so I deserve to lose.
See?
Yeah, I betrayed the whale gang. I'm a fraud. I'm not who my public image is.
I thought we were supposed to save the whales, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I feel very miserable, but well, okay, fair.
I have
Another
like a
time.
great Otter Chain energy deck I have to show you. Abyss Soldier puts in work in that deck. It's insane.
Oh, you run him to bounce card back so that they then again have to save them.
It goes
Oh,
nuts.
wow. That
It
sounds
goes
disgusting.
forever.
But
Yeah.
isn't then like a golem sentry like easier or like a guaranteed?
So what I like about Soldier is that I'm actually playing Umi in that deck, or Legendary Ocean, and so I have like full force of monsters that are all level 3 that have like insane effects and insane stats because they're waters.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
And
Bokroth is really good in it too because you can hit direct, so that chain energy is even more effective.
And I think this deck is not that bad. It's of course like kind of combo reliant. Let's say it this way because you need Ocean. But
Yeah,
I think Legendary Ocean. You know, it's like not a top tier deck, but it's certainly like not a Z tier deck because
yeah, it's underrated. Like Giga Gaga Gigo level 5 having attack on Zork and Jinzo, and I can summon
Yeah.
it just off of Legendary Ocean. It's pretty cracked.
Exactly with 2,650. It's
Yeah, it's kind of a lot.
insane.
Like,
Yeah, I was 2 or 3 weeks ago. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was at a friend of mine. He also plays Goat, but not competitively. So just like fun decks. And he also played something with the Legendary Ocean. And I mean, of course, it's not as consistent as one of the standard decks, but you can definitely like just lose to those decks if they summon Giga Gaga Gigo and this stuff. And also Abyss Soldier with 2,000, Tribe with 1,800.
yeah.
That's no joke. That's really, really good.
It's hard to get over those guys, yeah. And you can't just go into Gorilla because I'm playing level limits and gravity binds, so it's really
Yeah,
hard to totally beat over my guys.
yeah, that's indeed a thing. And you can even technically play the normal Gaga Gigo with 1,850. It still runs over Kaiko, Sasuke, and other stuff. Not to mention Breakout Tribe. But if you have a Legendary Ocean, it has 2,050, and 2,050 is so good because it can just kill spies and Blade Knights and like gorillas and like
Chaos
pretty
Sorcerer
much
and defense.
And a lot
Chaos
of the
Sorcerer
water
and
cards,
defense. Very true.
a lot of the water cards feel like they're designed for chain energy, like Aqua Spirit is just so annoying. Like there are a lot of them are tempo based, the water cards, and that really goes well with playing chain energy. Like an
Sounds
1800
interesting.
Aqua Spirit is kind of hard to get over, and it is like negging their monsters every turn.
But are you then? I mean, if you're on Chain Energy, I would say it conflicts a lot with Solemn, so you just don't play it and say, okay, my opponent doesn't run Storm, and if then this game is over, or what's the?
Yeah, I don't play Solemns in any of my chain energy decks, but I do sometimes side jammers. In this deck, I actually have some main jammers because I'm on the Serpent. And I forgot to mention, but I am on some Thunder Dragons too, so I have a lot of fodder in my hand most of the time.
Interesting move
But-
here from from Lucas end, just summoning the Kaiku, even though the 1,000 Strict can just come out and eat it.
Yep.
I mean, he's willing to risk it here to prevent a Chaos coming down. I guess he sees that Alvarado has 10 cards left in the deck. It's very likely that they'll be able to set up a game shot with a Chaos monster, so kind of just delaying that by putting the Kaiko face up.
Sometimes people forget that they can attack and destroy their equipped monster. I don't think Alvarado's one of those people.
He's willing to commit a Heavy Storm just
maybe
to play
he did
around
forget.
this.
Wow, what's happening now? I think this is probably a game shot.
Well, he can't really walk into it because of the Kaiko effect to banish. So let me take a look at the graveyard.
Does he have?
Yeah, he only had a single dark in the graveyard, so there wasn't a way for him to summon a Chaos through this.
He has a Thunder Dragon left. Oh no, sorry.
No, it's banished.
He's just gonna go into BLS and attack.
No, he doesn't have a dark in the graveyard.
Oh.
But he has a Metamorph to turn that Chaos Sorcerer into something different.
Crazy that he made a comeback after all that.
I know, it was
like
the power of the 1,000 Ice Restrict being able to lock the game down.
Yep. And with the there's really you can't ring the 1,000 Eyes on the Prio. There's nothing you can really do. He used his MST and his breaker, so there was a decree behind the decree. It was like only Heavy really got Lucas out of that situation.
And with that, we're going to jump right into Soulmaster Matt versus YSMF. Looks like YSMF won the first game. Right into game 2. This is the losers semifinals.
That's going to be a good one, I think. Let's see.
Looks like Soulmaster Matt on the Warriors. Some sort of chaos package from YSMF.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, it's. Yeah, I don't know. What was it? Yeah, Night Assailant. Chaos. So nothing too special, but of course very effective.
And there's Brain Control coming out from Soulmaster Matt here in the game 2. Take out a monster in the breaker and then summon Mobius.
That's ballsy. Summoning, siding in Brain and Mobius against Chaos.
Yeah.
That's ballsy.
So this is what Turbo versus Warrior.
Yep.
Well, I mean, if you're banking on them siding in stuff like Sakurasu Armor in the Warrior matchup, I mean, Mobius gets a lot better.
On paper it does, but I feel like you really need to be lucky to pull that off. But of course it can work. But then you should probably side in more than just one random Brain Control. Or I mean, majority of people don't side in 3 Mobius, so it's like I don't know, 1 to.
It's possible he has more than 1. He might have 2.
Yeah, but like 2 Mobius, and let's just hypothetically
I meant Brain Control, but not Mobius. I think you only more than 1.
Yeah, but just imagine like siding in 1 Brain Control and 2 Mobius. Okay, I mean, do we really want to do the math? How likely it is to draw them both together?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
In Warrior, where you have less extra draw power. Okay, but yeah.
Very fast pace here between the two. Matt just slamming the Graceful Charity. It resolves getting rid of 2 Jar of Greeds and then summoning Blade Knight right into Torrential Tribute. Now we got set from YSMF, followed up by Premature Burial. Gonna get the Blade Knight down. And that's gonna clear the Night Assailant, not trigger the flip effect.
Just typing monstrously fast. That's big. Oh, that snatch.
Snatches trading with each other.
That was hilarious.
YMSF playing
Crazy.
off the top.
Yeah. 1,000 life points.
Not where you want to be. Definitely, I give the edge here to Warrior. They just have better top decks on average. Just their monsters
Yeah.
are a lot better on their own, where some of these
Yeah.
other monsters just need to combo with something else. But nobody has drawn a monster yet. Just a bunch of back row for the both of them.
Wow. Crazy.
MST taking out the new set, Solemn Judgment.
That's a good one. Dom is still alive, so very good. Oh, wow.
Huge. That's
Big
definitely met
boy.
with Torrential.
Solemn.
Big Luster Soldier.
Do we have another Solemn? Going through, down to 55. Or 550.
Yeah.
Saku going to clear the Black Luster Soldier. So, Blade Knight, though, will this resolve?
Wow.
No, didn't
So-
decide to Solemn the Solemn.
Okay.
Just decided I had an out to it anyway.
Okay, then.
MST to clear, and here's Breaker.
Yeah.
And we're going to game
Yeah.
3.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, winning top deck war against Warrior. Oof. Tough thing. Tough thing. Not impossible, but also not very likely.
Okay, guys, I gotta watch the rest from my phone, so I'm gonna sign out now. But chatting with y'all.
Thanks for joining us, Birdman.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you. See you around.
So do you think MF sided in the Blade Knights, or did he already have them in the main deck?
Not sure. Probably side.
It's an interesting side deck, because, like, if you're siding it against Warriors, you're also siding it against Chaos, right? Otherwise, why would you pick a Blade Knight for your side if you're not going to use the flip effect counter effect, you know?
Probably to just have a big monster that's a light versus the Warrior matchup. Just be able to trade with their Blade Knight. Because you're fine with throwing a light in the graveyard. You want to, like, get in there for Chaos. Plus, you can beef it up with your guys. Like, with your discard traps. You can get down to 1 card in hand pretty easily. Obviously, if you're in Chaos, you want to have as many cards as possible. But if it gets into that scenario, you can just use the Blade Knight to trade with their monsters. Instead of something like Berserk Gorillo. If you feel like you have enough darks, you don't want to run the Zombira. Zombira also can't attack direct, so like you're not able to do any damage directly with it.
Even though it's very optimistic, because one reason why Trap Dust Shoot is so good against Chaos is because they, in a lot of situations, have 4 or even more cards in the hand. Meaning, if they usually have, let's say, or in a lot of scenarios, 4 plus cards, then it's quite optimistic to bank on the Blade Knight being on the field with only 1 or even none card in hand.
Yeah, I don't feel like it would be a good counter for Warriors at all compared to Zombira. Because, you know, Zabire, of course, can attack over a Blade Knight
I mean,
at least once.
I don't know if I
and-
agree either, but sorry to cut you off there. I don't know if I agree either, but yeah, like it does a function. Like there is a reason to play it.
I mean, it would stop Soulmaster's getting the flip effect of Spy, I guess, if he sides it in.
No, it won't because it's it has to kill the monster, the Blade Knight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I guess I don't play Warrior that much.
Looks like
I guess
we got
I did know that.
a
I
little
kind
bit of lag here.
I just forgot.
Delinquent Duo now coming out from Soulmaster Matt's End after a little bit of technical difficulties. Still having them, it seems. Won't let them pay life points here. Would hate to lose this out on Dueling Book not working properly.
He hit a Solemn. That's kind of weird that he didn't set the Solemn. That makes me think maybe the face down is a Heavy Storm. Or just a Jar of Greed, and that's all he has.
Well, here comes Blackluster Soldier from SMF. Yeah, not going to opt to attack into 2 back rows. You're fine. As long as this sticks, you can just banish the Blade Knight, get rid of the monster, keep your dude.
What do you think that face down could be? I mean, it's not Heavy Storm, I don't think, because he didn't use it. It's not, I don't think
From
it's Jar
MF?
of Greed either. Yeah.
Could be a Book of Moon, could be a Solemn. Another one.
I don't see why you wouldn't set the other Solemn, though, in your hand. If it was another, you know, if you had 2 Solemns, why not just put them both down?
I mean, I would agree with you there. Maybe play around Zing.
Oh, yeah. That's probably it.
And here's Brain Control. Book of Moon would be able to protect here because you can put it face down, then Brain Control can't take it. I mean, that's it's a benefit that Mind Control has that Brain Control doesn't. Is that it? Mind Control doesn't care. There it was, another Solemn. But Brain Control gets the benefit of essentially being like a Change of Heart. You just have to pay 800 for it. being able to attack with a monster, being able to tribute it is really nice as well. So different applications for these monster stealing cards.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of brain control. I was playing a deck today with 3 brain control.
I'm a fan of it myself. I think it's definitely underrepresented here in the format. The problem is that its applications are like very niche, I think. Like, and it only wants to be in like specific decks. I think I like it as a side deck option for warriors, particularly because in the mirror match you can steal your opponent's stuff and like try to attack with it instead. And either way, you are either trading into a back row, and so it just becomes an MST for like a Sakuretsu armor, or you get to kill their monster, or if they have like double Blade Knight, you get to use your 1 card to beat both of their Blade Knights. So it's just like better than a Smashing Ground sometimes.
Yeah.
And I mean, here it was threatening to be like a mind control and take this Blackluster Soldier away, but fortunately for Soulmaster Matt, there was a Solemn Judgment in the back row. Thunder Dragon coming out. Sacking it over the Sangan. Got the search off. Oh no, he flipped it last turn. I completely misrepresented that there. And now applying pressure with the Thunder Dragon instead, not trying to walk his Blackluster Soldier into a battle trap. Sakuretsu armor, dealing with the Blade Knight, but no mana cross out, picking off the Magician of Fate anyway. And now's an interesting decision point. Soulmaster's he's at 36. He can, or YSMF can change this Blackluster Soldier to attack mode and try to swing in. We've already established that there wasn't a Solemn Judgment down, or a Torrential Tribute as well, from Soulmaster Matt. But we do see a Mirror Force. That's huge.
But yeah, definitely not afraid of Torrential here. Wow. I probably would have turned PLS back to attack. He didn't change his battle position this turn, did he?
I don't think so. Right. Yeah, you're right. So he should have put it in attack. I mean, right there, he would have done some damage, 1,500 damage.
Happy to take the 1,000.
Yeah, and also. Yeah, but eventually, Master Matt is running a second Sasuke, and this would have been just super painful.
You know,
Yeah.
one thing we're finding out today, pretty new news we're getting here today, is Blackluster is actually a pretty good card, apparently. It's like won like 3 duels so far, pretty much, on its own. I mean, it's getting like +3 every time you summon it.
I think it's always been pretty good. Last time we checked, but yeah, I mean we've been seeing it a lot today. It's been sticking to everybody's hands and sticking to the board. Matt finally found a pot of greed to draw some brand new cards here. Now with the Blackluster Soldier gone, make way for the Kaiku.
Uh-oh.
And there's a Zing. I mean, he was playing around Zing for a while.
Right. Yeah, and he was right.
Breaker now gonna opt to use the effect to get rid of this back row. Now looking at the graveyard, there's a Chaos Monster. And it's his own BLS. And that's gonna do it. Soulmaster Matt gonna take it over YSMF on the losers semi-finals. We're gonna move on up to the losers finals here. Soulmaster Matt taking on Lucas. It's going to be the Warrior Mirror match. And we'll have that for you in just a moment here.
This is a super fast tournament.
Yeah, this has been very quick for the most part. I mean, we get done around the same time usually.
But it's quite nice to see because I think the last GFC took probably a bit longer than usual, or at least was had some very, very, very long matches, and this one was overall going quite smooth, I would say. So very nice.
Yeah, last GFC did have a couple of longer matches. It definitely was a long day 2 as well as a long day 1. So this one's been running pretty well though. Been liking a lot of the play that I've been seeing from the players. And I mean, we're in the thick of it here. Only 2 more games left.
Potentially even the third one.
Oh, a third one, yeah, correct. Gotta still play grand finals. If the winner of the losers bracket takes out Alvarado in the first match, they have to play another.
So I didn't follow too much before. So Alvarado is on typical chaos control with decree or any.
It's decree
any,
with the what's it called? The Golem Sentry.
Golem Sentry.
And Democ.
Oh, also Democ. Oh, that's cool.
Yes,
I mean,
Grand
Golem
Finals.
Sentry.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that is probably not a bad matchup for him. I would say Golem Sentry, Decree, Meta, Goats, Tsukuyomi. That's a good matchup because his opponent
One
is
thing,
certainly a warrior.
One thing that kind of sucks about playing DMOC in a deck that has Decree is that the best way to summon DMOC usually is through Premature Burial or Call of the Haunted, and you can sometimes shut off your own Call of the Haunted with your own Decree, right?
Or you can use Call the Haunted,
That's true.
and then afterwards use your Decree, so if they try to destroy the Call of the Haunted somehow, nothing happens to your DMOC. Just stays on the board.
Yeah.
If you are in the lucky spot that you can sequence it that way, that's very true. But yeah, it's of course kind of a wombo combo that can work out. But so if Alvarado is playing Golem Sentry, then I guess he's not on Gravekeeper Spy.
I don't believe so. He might be.
Because I feel like the second best way after like so not in reasoning gate deck, of course, but I feel like the second best way next to Prima and Call is Spy, because Spy is two tribute monsters in a lot of cases, unless you draw the second one and you don't run three or some other weird scenario. Then like Spy is a very very easy way to get two tribute monsters on the field like in within a second. So this is also then kind of a, let's say, unusual environment to run DMOC in. I probably would disagree that that this is something I would go for, but I mean, it works out. He's in the grand finals. I'm not, seems to do something right at this very tournament.
As we're waiting here for the game to start once again, I implore you, if you want to get involved in these premium championship tournaments, you can head on over to www.goatformat.com and join up on our Discord, as well as either our Patreon page or on our premium membership of the Discord. And you should be able to register there. We run these tournaments for those premium members twice a month, and the winner of these tournaments will be able to earn an invite. To the World Championships of GOAT format. Going to be held later in October, the weekend before Halloween. And you can call yourself a world champion if you win that. Earn some fabulous, fabulous prizes.
Don't you dare stealing my title.
I was about to say, you get to challenge Delinquent for the title. Because I know he definitely wants to be a two-time world champion.
Nah, that would be just greedy. I mean, come on, how likely is this? It's like close to impossible.
Well, how many people were in the last World Championship?
About 50-something.
Yeah, I think 56.
Should have about 60 or so qualified for this year's World Championship as well. So if all of them play, that'll be a little bit more than last year, which should be fun.
Well, actually, you're right, Delinquent. It is pretty much impossible for you to win again this year, because I'm winning this year.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward. So let's see, when should we face each other? Eventually before Grand Finals even.
Yeah, we'll face each other. We might face each other before even the World Championships.
We'll have to see how
For, like,
everything
a
breaks
warm-up.
down.
Yeah, I mean, I think my run at this moment is like still so bad that that you probably will meet me in loser side, but let's see. Eventually, I can turn around.
Well,
and,
there may not be a loser side on day one of Worlds, so
yeah, true. Even though
maybe in the X2 bracket, but
I was wondering, like my brother and I recently had this, like if there would be Swiss, or if there would be an alternative system, just hypothetically speaking, then I would wonder like how much advantage a buy would actually give you. Because in double elimination it's busted, but like in other tournament systems, is it so much of an advantage?
I believe
there?
it's still very good regardless of the format. If you get a bye, that's a guaranteed win already. Obviously, in the double elimination format, it puts you a stage further than the other players. Like, you're just guaranteed to have a win. You have to win less games. But I mean, it's still like you gotta win, right? Regardless of if you have a bye or not.
Yeah, I mean, well, would be nice, but I really wonder. Like, I think I have played all of the tournaments over the, or like let's say 95% of the tournaments I played over the last years were double eliminations. So I don't know how to Swiss or how to do any kind of alternative systems anymore. Completely erased from my memory how this works.
So we're going to get into this now. It's going to be Soul Master Matt versus Anthony Alvarado here in the grand finals of the Premium World Championship Qualifier number 21. Winner of this will become the champion and will earn an invite to the Go Format World Championships. Now for Soul Master Matt, they do not have an invite. So they need to win here, and they're in the loser side, so they need to beat Anthony Alvarado twice in order to obtain this invite. Anthony Alvarado looking to secure another invite, adding to his points that'll work towards a bye.
Do you know how many invites Alvarado already has?
I don't recall, but I'm sure that it's going to be one more if he wins this than he already has. I'm sure he knows for sure for it.
This thing is for sure, and I mean the odds are of course in his favor. I mean, of course, if you are like coming from winner's side, you anyway have an advantage, and well, regardless to say he's a hell of a player, so it's certainly in his favor, but definitely not impossible. If I remember correctly, so Master Matt is also like a very decent player and has a very decent deck overall, even though the matchup, in my humble opinion, is not favoring him. So everything's possible for sure.
Alvarado's going to start game one off with a trap dust shoot, taking a DD Warrior Lady out of the hand. We're not going to get to see the hand. Alvarado did not write it down for us, unfortunately.
So what happened to Lucas?
Lucas decided to drop from the event. We have Kaiko the Ghost Destroyer coming down from Soul Master, attacking in. Now a trap dust shoot of their own.
Dust shoot is so broken. This card is so broken.
Yeah, I mean, really good to put a card back. Obviously, take a card away from them, but like I always say, the best thing about this is just knowing the information that's in the opponent's hand. Lets you dictate how you're going to play the game. And dictate what your opponent does.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I absolutely agree. I mean, of course, you need to have Yugi Muto skills to not draw it in top deck war or like in late game. But I feel that it pays off more than it disadvantages you. So I would say it's certainly a good one.
And it just got rid of a Tsukiyomi from Alvarado's end. Neither player letting us in on what the other player has. Neither of them using the Vanish Hand function. And neither of them writing it down in the chat for us.
Eventually, they like the dangerous life, and they type it in the where the HTML address is, like in that row. Then accidentally press enter. That's like definitely Russian roulette. 5 bullets in the chamber. Would never do this.
Probably TK got to him and told them to write down what's in there.
Oh, heavy MST torrential. Like LS Cardi ring cardboard. Bad.
So MST taking out Call the Haunted, which was not live, so set that as a bluff for the MST that he knew about already. And now reinforcing the army coming through. This could get Don Zalug and just force the Ring of Destruction to come out, or the Book of Moon. I don't know if you're going to opt to do that. You might just get a Blade Knight here in this situation because the BLS is dead. Card D will discard it. Turn on maybe Chaos if you draw them a dark. But you can't because there's the Kaiku, so then he has to Ring of Destruction. I guess he still has the book as well, so you could book the Kaiku first. So maybe it is better to just get Don here and force the issue. Because then that forces the Ring of Destruction or the Book of Moon on the Don instead. He could do it on the Kaiku to turn his Blackluster Soldier on, but then he's going to lose a card out of the hand.
Yeah, I agree. I think Don is most likely the right pick. Oh, Lost Connection.
But yeah, he's been having this, it looks like. Saw it last game as well.
I also had it once, I don't know, 2 hours ago, so when I was still playing. I think doing book service.
Looks like you're having an issue as well, just sounding like a robot again.
No, come on, really?
It's not all the time. I think it just is when it... Like, some of the time. I guess it might be... Are you on the Wi-Fi at your house or something?
Yes.
It might be that.
Unfortunately, where I'm currently... Yeah, unfortunately, where I'm currently am, I can't go to regular LAN mode.
Yeah.
That's unfortunately all I can offer at the moment.
It's kind of weird. He sounded like a robot to me, but then I checked the stream, and he didn't sound like a robot on the stream.
The stream's on a little bit of a delay, so he might sound okay for
Well,
a little bit.
From earlier, though, but yeah.
Yeah.
Plot twist, I am a robot.
That's why he was able to win the Worlds. Just downloaded the format. Had the answers.
Got the Blade Knight
Exactly.
instead of Dawn.
I mean, this also works because you can force a Ring of Destruction here regardless. Either that or you're just going to be taking 38 to the face. I mean, you'll take 38 if there's a Ring of Destruction here regardless.
Yeah, he probably wants to go for maximum damage to
Mm-hmm.
end this game ASAP.
Just kill them before they can kill you. Usually that ends up being a good strategy.
With Warrior, for sure. And I mean, with other decks, you might also say this, but with Warrior, that's even like, yeah, so incredibly true because this deck just pressures so much. It's insane.
So we know the hands. We know the face down for Matt. It's probably a Torrential. It could be the Heavy Storm. Alvarado doesn't want to commit a back row, in case it is. And wow, top decked Exiled Force, get rid of the Knight Assailant. I mean, now it's on Anthony to draw something here. He can use the card destruction to find 3 new cards. That's going to get rid of the BLS, though. And whatever the card he just drew is, plus the Book of Moon. He could use the Book of Moon to book the Kaiku face down, and then try to make a play from there to clear it. I like the card destruction play because that scouts what the face down is. It could only be Heavy Storm or Torrential. But now with the card destruction, you verify that it is the Heavy Storm here. So you do have free reign to summon your Tsukiyomi, and now you can attack over. It's not going to be outed, though you have to be careful because that is a Heavy Storm, and he can just flip it up to this back row, summon a monster, and try to swing in. So this has to be exactly Scapegoat.
So. Yeah, and I think it is. Oh, wow.
And there's the Kaiku, going to deal with him. No main deck Karibo from Anthony, and that's going to be game 1 of match 1 in the grand finals. Potentially, if Soulmaster Matt here wins game number 2 of this match, that'll drop Anthony Alvarado down to the loser side. We'll play another best 2 out of 3.
So, did Alvarado have the decrease also in the main deck? If we saw Dust Shoot, probably not. He probably just sided them in then, right?
Say that again.
So did Alvarado only side in the decrease, or did he have it in the main deck along with Trap Dust Shoot?
I can't remember. I don't know if we saw game 1 or we started off with game 2.
Okay, because Dust Shoot and Decree at first glance sounds horrible, but in practice it's still fine because you can usually fire off Dust Shoot relatively early. But of course it can conflict still.
Alvarado had a Regeki break in the main deck.
Okay, then he
And
sides in the
Spies.
Decree. Oh. Okay. So he has like a not fully conversion side, but definitely changes the parts of the strategy from traps to Decree.
Yeah, there might be some conversion issue or some issues here with Soulmaster Matt's end. We're even seeing some lag because of the power issue. I'm going to start off here. Anthony Alvarado is just going to set 1 card. And Matt's going to respond with a Graceful Charity. Gonna get rid of Blade Knight and Torrential. Followed up by King Tiger. This was a card that gave Anthony trouble in the Lucas game, but Anthony was able to overcome the odds there. Torrential Tribute, though, going to take quick work of the Tiger. And after all that, we're back to 5 cards apiece. And just a back row from Matt's end, pass it over to Alvarado. Alvarado's gonna... Well, I mean, didn't commit a lot to the board, so he could really do anything that he wants.
Seems to be a lot of just setting one back row today.
Yeah, don't want to, like, overcommit. Especially if you're... If you know you're facing the Warriors and they have stuff like the Dust Tornadoes or they have the Zings, for example, like putting more than one, I guess, I mean, the Dust Tornado can trade for the 1-for-1, that's fine. Like, you're not going to be able to play around that unless, like, you've set something like a Delinquent Duo that could be dead. So you just get them there, and yeah, you lose your Delinquent, but they lose a Dust Tornado.
In the end, you still can't really play around everything. Like sometimes you play around Duo and then run into Storm or into Zing. Sometimes you just gotta be lucky or play around the remaining outs, of course. But in this game state, I think like it's a gamble anyway. So right now he said Mirror Force, there's the breaker, so he couldn't play around this by setting eventually another card. So one way or another, you can't really. Sometimes you can't play around every possible threat, so you just need to decide around which you want to play.
I think I made that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Byron taken care of by the Ring of Destruction. A T-set from Alvarado in main phase 2, and now we got Mystic Swordsman level 2. Will he get the job done here? Yes, he will. Mirror Force already taken care of thanks to the breaker, and then 1600 now. Coming in from Matt's side.
Yeah, Torrential and Force gone at such an early game state. That's like big time for you. You really want to see those off the board, and that gives you actually like a lot of security by just slamming more monsters on the board. I think Alvarado would almost need a Chaos Monster to stabilize here.
He does have Light and Dark set up, so he could slap one down. Got to contest with the 2 back rows, though. Could
Might, be vulnerable to a Snatch Steal.
Could see Decree from Alvarado's end before committing to any sort of Chaos line.
Yeah, there we go.
Instead, just going to stick BLS out.
And now the question is, does Alvarado have Decree? Does Soulmaster Matt have Solemn? Like, no. That's
No.
Of course like the factor. Okay, no Solemn.
I don't think
even
Soul has Solemn.
Eventually he does have, like, he could have Solemn plus Mirror Force, for instance.
Yeah, Mirror Force hasn't been used yet.
I think Soul would have used the Solemn there. If he had it.
Could be a Sakuretsu Armor. No, nothing. Wow, this is a huge life point swing.
Wow, that's crazy. With 2 sets. Wow, that's rare against Warrior.
And there's a Dust Tornado. That'll take out Scapegoat. Couldn't be used because Alvarado summoned this turn.
So here comes the Snatch.
That would be really good. No, nothing. Just is going to set to 3 in the back row and then 1 in the front.
So I wonder if you could he could just attack here with BLS, not summon.
No, he uses the effect to banish, and then he can put the Tsukiyomi. He can put it face down with Tsukiyomi and then attack this way. This way, if they have a Mirror Force, there's nothing.
Here to use the Torrential.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I was.
Yeah, Torrential's already gone.
But I think you. I mean, this is a coin
Mirror Force.
Mathematically, it's less likely that he doesn't have it than that he has it.
And you don't want to lose to Snatch Steal, so I would attack with both.
It's more likely that he has the Sakuretsu armor for sure.
I definitely would have attacked with both.
Instead, we're going to see Call of the Haunted, probably for Breaker to block the attack. Oh, for Wangu. Yeah, it makes sense. But it's just going to get flipped up and vanished, so it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
But the attack's blocked.
Question is, does Alvarado now have something like a Book of Moon or a Decree, something to kind of protect the BLS?
MST will take care of whatever this is. Just a premature burial.
Like, there's pretty much no way that Soul has Mirror Force, because he would have said it the other turn, you know? Like, when he attacked with the BLS that first time, he had 2 back row and they didn't do anything.
Probably, but you just want to take the line that is the most safe in these situations, because if for whatever reason he does have Mirror Force there, and you just attack and you lose the BLS, like the whole tide of the game could be swung in your opponent's favor. Because that Call of the Haunted bringing back the King Tiger could like take over the game.
But the BLS is also a little bit of a liability as well, because you're worried about Snatch Steal. And if he gets a monster and Snatch Steal, that can be game.
Yeah, I agree. For sure. But I think Alvarado played it to the best of his ability, where he said, if this is this, or this, I can play this card and I lose not as much as I do if I just keep the BLS on board and like run it into a Mirror Force or a Sakuretsu armor. And now here's Breaker. So he probably is going to snipe that back row that was just set. And that's a Saku.
Yeah, that's game.
And yeah, you go for it here.
I mean, the card that was face down still was the same card that was face down the previous turn when he didn't attack with BLS. So it still could have been.
He had 2 other cards face down that you had to contend with.
Yeah.
So it's much easier in that position when you've seen 2 cards to say, okay, now I'm going to attack with the BLS, because you can use the probability of them having not having Mirror Force there, or if they have Sakuretsu armor like another Sakuretsu armor, it doesn't matter at this point.
Say, if you just look at it mathematically, yes, you lose some games because your opponent has the unlikely Mirror Force, but you still win more games because it's unlikely that he has it. Like if he had like the last game, like still 28 cards left deck, I mean, well, of course sometimes he has this 1 in a billion Mirror Force, but that's usually not gonna happen.
Yeah, I think it's generally just better to play around cards if you can play around them, regardless of if you think they have them or not. If you have the ability to say, I'm going to play around this card, because even though the likelihood is low, I can still guarantee that I win the game somehow, or like I still stay in a relatively good position, I don't see the problem with taking that.
I mean,
here we got
I know
a
we're
heavy.
still talking about the same thing over and over, but I still think he definitely should have attacked, because like if he had the Mirror Force, he wouldn't have set Dust Tornado and Call of the Haunted. He would have set the Mirror Force and one of the other ones, I think.
Well,
and then I think that's kind of a bluff that he set his whole hand the next turn. I think that the whole point of doing that was that, you know, it's like he's trying to make it seem like maybe one of these will be Mirror Force, but I think it's just from looking at what happened in the previous turns, it's almost impossible for one of those to be a Mirror Force.
You're right. It wasn't Mirror Force. Like, it's definitely, like, you can make that hard read as well. And it worked out. Like, I mean, if they did your play, Big Noodle, then I mean he just wins the game now on the next turn,
now,
or on the first turn that you do the play there, because it doesn't matter if they have a Call of the Haunted. You just attack and you just attack over it.
Yeah.
Anyway, big card destruction here took care of Matt's hand and cycled back a flip effect monster here for the Night Assailant going away. Got rid of a Torrential. No, got rid of the Wangu, Blade Knight, and Mobius on Matt's end. Torrential and Zing were picked off by Heavy Storm.
Yeah, and I don't know if you realized it, but the funny thing is the very first turn by Soul Master Matt was exactly the same situation we were talking about. So he probably was debating with himself, okay, shall I set the second card? So shall I just set Zing or just Torrential, or shall I go for both and say, okay, if my opponent has heavy, he has it. And actually, like a very similar scenario, eventually not as neck breaking, but of course you don't want -1 for big time heavy either.
Yeah, and he was probably thinking that his opponent is more likely to set like Decree plus a Book of Moon or a Goat or something in this matchup, and wanted to get them with the Zing, but also wanted protection if they decided to normal summon a monster. And took the risk there, and so, unfortunately, you just had the Heavy Storm.
Yeah, and I also know this was setting too. Like, for instance, when I play a Decree deck, this happens all the time. If I set like Decree or Book first turn, boom, Heavy Storm. But still, it's like less likely that it happens.
Wow. This play is so unfortunate, though. They normal summon their own Kaiku and then decided to use Ring of Destruction to try to get Kaiku in the graveyard, but Alvarado had the Royal Decree. So that's going to negate the Ring of Destruction and keep the Dark on board. This signals a Chaos Monster in the hand. Probably Blackluster Soldier if you're going to play it into a face down, right?
Yeah.
So now Alvarado has a lot of information and can just keep that Kaiko on the board. And if he finds like if that's Magician of Faith down, it's becoming really likely that you grab your card destruction back so you can get rid of the BLS that you pretty much know is in Matt's hand.
Yep, that will be the play, even though the question would be how many Faith Alvarado is playing, because one is already gone.
Mm-hmm.
Actually plays 3 and 3 with heavy spells. Still not too likely that there is a Faith.
He gets back card destruction too because of the Royal Decree. Those trap cards that are really good for Matt become really just nothings thanks to the Royal Decree. Doesn't have to worry about Mobius as well. And now, see, Alvarado had the opportunity to take out the Kaiku, but decided not to. Decided to hold on.
Yeah, because of course he also did the same read as we did. So very hard read for BLS, and he wouldn't have an out. So that was the correct play.
For sure. I mean, he wished he had the duo in the hand, of course. A tribe infecting virus would be huge for Matt. Being able to
Even though the yeah, but Kaiko would also die. I mean, of course, then you have the Dark and the Grave, but Alvarado also has Chaos Light. It would be enough for a kill shot.
yeah. Adding a King Tiger to the board makes things a little trickier.
Eventually, if Soulmaster Matt is running Cliff or Don, and one of the two he most likely is running, then he could actually do a funny play with Rota into Don or whatever, and then BLS would be live.
Oh yes, he can do that.
What was the play?
I wouldn't. If he could abuse the ability of King Tiger Wanko to dump the Dark in the Grave with Dawn or Cliff if he normal summons it, because then his BLS is live. I would be.
That actually wouldn't be that bad. I mean,
yeah, I would say so, and I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be shocked if we would see this. And Rotas are still alive.
Yeah, hasn't used reinforcement to the army yet. Alvarado thinking here. Knight Assailant. Yeah, that's what as soon as he put the think button up, or if he didn't flip it immediately, I was thinking that it could be Knight Assailant. Deciding they want to get rid of the Kaiko.
Is this a mind game or does he have an hour?
He just has another one. It doesn't matter.
That's funny.
But he still decides to not play the BLS, so he's not afraid of duo.
Yeah, he might be afraid of Snatch Steal, and maybe wants to. I don't know. Wait, I mean, he can't really have any back row because of Decree, but he could maybe try to go and do some damage first. I don't know, or yeah, maybe save BLS for game shot.
Yeah, it doesn't have to put it up here.
But now he's kind of in a back to walls situation. I think we're now going to see a BLS here.
But what does that say about Alvarado's hand that he says, okay, I'm ready to get rid of this Kaiku now, even though I am putting you on a Chaos Monster? Probably BLS.
Might be a Chaos Monster on his own or Snatch, most likely.
Or is it the double bluff that he sends it to the graveyard, says, you can have this Dark because I have the Snatch, but he actually just doesn't have it.
Yeah, this could be a very, very decent bluff. I initially thought about the same thing. It's just like if you would really, really take the risk of your opponent going for it. But yeah, I would say that's kind of an all-in bluff in case.
And to get even spicier, what if Matt decided to use the Ring of Destruction to snuff out his own Kaiku and see if that was a Decree and didn't have a Blackluster Soldier in the hand? That's a little too crazy.
Yes.
So he's looking to do as much damage as possible here, but it's not going to be that much damage, to be honest.
No, but he will be able to clear the board. There was, in fact, a BLS there.
But he also wasted damage. Could have attacked with BLS over Zombire.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, he technically didn't attack with King Tiger, I don't think.
Get why he summoned both Mobius and BLS. He could have just summoned Mobius to bait out a Snatch or a Chaos Monster, but like both doesn't make too much sense to me because it's like so far away from the kill shot. And oh wow, and we see a lot of draws.
Lightning Vortex would be good here.
I mean, sometimes, I'm going to be honest, sometimes spies just frustrate people. I think they just get mad that they can't break through the spies, and so they make some weird play that doesn't really do that much, just so that they can break the spy. And then that puts the pressure. I mean, it puts the pressure back on if the opponent with the spies hasn't drawn any action, because now it's like, okay, you're forced to draw the action. But in this particular spot, like, if Alvarado just has a snatch steal, if he has his own BLS, like, Matt might just be looking like a fool here.
Maybe Matt drew his own snatch steal, so now he's not worried.
Yeah, I mean, that also could be a scenario too. He could just have the answer to the answer, so it says, okay, I'm not really worried because I won't die here. I put enough bodies on the board, and I'll just snatch your guy instead. Or take his own back.
Or she also wants to play around too and like do everything to not keep 2 cards in hand, even though this is some risks you gotta take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alvarado drew a bunch of cards this turn. Upstarts Pot of Greed.
I'm thinking he doesn't have snatch steal. I feel like he would have used it by now.
Yeah, snatch would have there's not too much to think about, but okay, try. That's a good one. That's a good one.
You can't machine gun the entire board because they're both Aquas, the Tribe and the Mobius.
Yeah, and you probably still want to get rid of King Tiger because he plays Scapegoat, doesn't he?
They might just do it anyway, just to get rid of it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I would. Oh, never mind.
Well, if you have BLS, I guess you don't, huh?
But it's not lethal. So if the snatch theory is still going on, then so Master Matt could have an insane back here.
Yeah, I'm snatch, predicting it.
And nothing off the top for Matt. And that's going to be Anthony Alvarado crushing Soulmaster Matt's dream here of making it into the World Championships and earning another invite here, adding to his points towards a potential bye. Congratulations to Anthony Alvarado for winning Patreon World Championship Qualifier number 21. Heck of a day today.
Congrats,
we saw some really great games.
A nice addition to his collection of qualifications.
Yeah, Anthony is on fire. Very, 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 very good run. Very, very impressive.
Well, that'll do it for us today. I want to thank both Delinquent and Mr. Big Noodle as well as Birdman earlier for joining me in the booth today. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Can't wait to see both of you play in the World Championships. Again, end of October, the weekend before Halloween. There are still invites at large. You can still get involved and try to get your invitation to the World Championships. All you got to do is go to goatformat.com, join up on our Discord, check in on the announcements on when these events are happening. In September, we should have 2 more premium championship events that you can play in. Winners of those will earn an invite. So if you're interested in joining, again, I want you to head on over to www.goatformat.com. And of course, even if you don't want to join, head on over to the website because it is the #1 place for all things Goat Format. All the rulings, all the metagame coverage that we have, any kind of decks that you want to look up, card pool as well. But yeah, that'll about do it for us today. Anything you guys want to say?
I would say I'm...
Also...
Oh, sorry.
You go first.
Sorry, you first. Okay, I just wanted to say, like, despite of course the infamous World Championship, I'm also looking very, very, very much forward to Clash of Champions next month. I think this is like, also like kind of a mini World Championship Yep. So I think this is also something to absolutely highlight. And even if any of you guys can't join, I think still like just spectating, it's so awesome. Like it feels like a very, very special event, and
Oh, for sure. Yes, the Clash of the Champions, as Delinquent is promoting here, that I did not get a chance to promote. But yes, the Clash of Champions should be next month as well. That is for winners of our events, Goat Format Championships, Format Library Championships as well. And Shonen Jump, YCS's National Championships, World Champions of all sorts are all invited to play at this prestigious event that will also be for an invite to the Goat Format World Championships this year. So again, if you're not one of those people, head on over to the stream because it should be a hell of a time. A lot of great players playing it in a great format. What about you, Mr. Big Noodle? You got anything for us?
I was just gonna say there's also there's 2 more FLCs happening before the World Championship, so you can get invites there too.
Yeah, head on over to formatlibrary.com and join up on their Discord as well. For if you're interested in those FLC events as well as all the other events that they have for every other format that you could imagine. If you're just into retro Yu-Gi-Oh, that is one of the best Discords to learn all these formats from. But yeah, that'll be it for us today. Thanks again for the for my friends here in commentary, and yeah, thanks for everyone else